What up,
family?
Y'all already know what it is. We got a request to do some videos from that chapter. This one is called Narcissistic Thrillers. Interrogation makes the detective snap. I know them detectives be wanting to snap on people sometimes when you're just hearing bull crap and they know the truth and know they just
BS after BS. Yep.
prolonging it, man. Let's go ahead and get into this video, man. Subscribe if y'all are new. Welcome to the family.
Hey you, and welcome. My name's Mike, and in this old video, it is Canada, it's Kevin, and it's Killer. Time. The subject of today's video is just one of those lads who's just so loathsome. You'll see what I mean at the end of the video. If you don't agree, check yourself. That's all I can say. See, this guy had one bright idea in a life full of not so bright ones, and it was the worst bright idea you will ever hear. The Ottawa Civic Hospital lies just to the southwest of the heart of the city, and it was there in the early morning hours of the 29th of December 2009 that RCMP Constable Eric Chapnick was sitting in his cruiser outside the emergency bay of that hospital. So he needed to write up, a few little notes, scribbling away in his little notepad about an incident he had just responded to before heading back out on duty with Ninos and all that. It was a very cold, dark night right in the middle of December, so not many people around, and who could blame them? And that is what made what happened all the more shocking. As Eric was sitting in his car, doing his thing, looking at his watch, waiting for third shift to end, out of nowhere, a man lunged at him with a knife, stabbing the ever-living shit out of Eric.
Damn.
Before he even knew what happened, Eric, in this frenzied attack, stabbed multiple times. He hadn't even managed to defend himself as the knife went in and in and in again.
Damn.
After witnessing this frenzied attack, several paramedics who had been standing nearby ran over and briefed this guy of Constable Eric, pinning him to the ground and calling 911. They also began working on Constable Eric Chapnick, who managed to run into the building. Now, Constable Eric Chapnick had been stabbed in both sides of his neck, and the damage was absolutely catastrophic. Despite all the responders throwing themselves into the attempt to save his life, Eric's wounds were just too severe, and he died shortly afterward.
Senseless, man. That man was just doing his
Two
job.
things were equally as shocking as what happened to Eric. One was that the attacker himself was a former RCMP officer.
What?
The other thing that was as shocking was the motive for why he attacked Eric in the first place. I hear you're barking, big dogs. What led to this?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Jealousy or something?
On the 20th of August 1966, it all began with the birth of Kevin Reed Gregson. Although he actually wasn't called Gregson when he popped out, as he had been adopted at just 2 days old by Reed and Faye, aka the Gregsons of Ottawa. Now, importantly, Reed and Faye were not given any information on Kevin and his background, other than he'd been born on a reserve and had Métis heritage. Now, from his early years, Kevin, it was one of those there's something wrong with Kevin type situations. He began to exhibit some very worrying behavior. Like, he enjoyed shooting small animals. He would oftentimes just fly off the handle. He had a very hard time controlling his emotions, specifically the emotion called anger. These incidents would get sometimes so bad, his mother would lock Kevin into the garage out of fear he would hurt someone else or himself.
Oh,
She had thrown away the key.
Yeah, serious,
He would run away from home. He'd get into physical fights with his parents. At one point, he even got so bad, they choked him out, and he had to go to child welfare, social services had to get involved, and he, after a couple of months, the Gregsons took him back.
Yeah, he would have to go.
We're like, doesn't seem like a good idea. They were right.
It's a real life problem, child.
Should have thrown away the key for real.
What happened?
30 years later.
At all. And I don't need friends. Because my dad's like that. He once told me, he says, you know what? You have friends, you gotta go and be nice and do things to be acceptable to them. So if you do your own thing, you can do your own thing, you don't have to worry about it. And I have picked up that philosophy.
Now, Kevin was raised in the Church of Latter-day Saints, and he continued his little bad boy behavior with them too, stealing items, TVs from churches, and all that kind of stuff, which led to his initial run-ins with the law. However, Kevin actually undertook a 2-year-long mission for the church between 1988 and 1990, and he apparently took his duties on behalf of the church very seriously. Yet several of his colleagues noted that he could be very difficult to deal with and seemed like a bit of a bully, that being a label that would come up time and time again in relation to Kevin.
Okay, the thing about me, the way I think at my work, how they describe me is that I'm very brutally honest and I'm awkward. Because like I don't get up and I don't try and I don't pass the buck. I don't.
That's exactly what you're doing.
No, I'm not.
You think that somehow this whole event is acceptable because you were only trying to find a gun to kill yourself.
Now, after his time as a missionary, Kevin actually got one of them jobs. He began working as an orderly at the Royal Ottawa Mental Health Centre, which it's kind of ironic. Is that ironic or not? That more sense on
Yeah.
But Kevin's dream was to go on and become a cop. But not only was Kevin's own personality standing in the way, his actual earlier run-in with the law when he robbed the church, that kind of stood in his way too. You see, Kevin's conviction for the church theft at age 19 meant that he was ineligible to join the police force. And so his only hope was to wait until 10 years had passed since the conviction and then petition the court for a pardon and have his record sealed. However, luck was with Kevin's side on this one, and he did manage to get over this hurdle to his own law enforcement career. And Kevin attended and graduated from the RCMP Academy, Depot Division, on the 4th of August, 1988. Now, credit where credit's due, he wasn't always the worst, just like a lot of times he was the worst. But he once got a citation for bravery after he disarmed an armed man in Saskatchewan. So it's like, alright, fair dues, big balls, but you know, used in the worst way. Sadly though, Kevin kind of peaked a little bit too early because only 4 years after getting a wee medal, in 2006 he kind of got into a few little argy-bargies with his superiors, and they were like, there's the door.
Damn.
He would be suspended from the force, and it was during that period that Kevin finally snapped. Kevin Gregson is the definition of narcissistic personality, of arrogance, of a person who wanted attention. And all that combined with his lack of morality made for a pretty shite mix. Everyone was wrong except Kevin, of course. That was how he viewed the world and everything in it. And so he continued to butt heads in the RCMP. He saw himself as a hero, completely delusional, failing to notice that he had zero positive qualities at all.
Okay, right.
Damn.
What were those run-ins, you ask? Kevin, you see, was in the process of renewing his temple recommended to essentially be a member of his church. You can't even enter them if you're not temple recommended. Well, see, to do that, you have to do some interviews with the bishop. And Kevin, well, during one of those interviews with the bishop, he whipped out a knife and said this: "You don't know how many ways I've been taught to kill a man. I would rather fight you with this knife than with a pistol. I can take someone out much faster with this than any other way." Nice.
He said it to the
badass. So he got in a lot of trouble for that because the bishop promptly reported him. Other than that, though, other officers would say he's a real bully, he's a real asshole, and Kevin himself didn't keep these thoughts to himself. He would refuse to work with others, saying they were beneath him. An RCMP internal threat assessment on Gregson from 2007 found Gregson was on the verge of harming someone. Reports were written on him that he was essentially a child who would throw a tantrum when he heard an N-O. It actually took some time. It wasn't until 2008 that Kevin was finally kind of pushed out. But see, what they do is they don't just sack you, they don't just fire you. They kind of make your life suck so much and your job so shite that you're like, you quit, essentially, rather than them firing you, which is pretty shitty. Now, Kevin, see, was appealing, though, his suspension and all that, and you know what his master plan to win his job back was? You're gonna love this. He worked with his mother to bake a whole load of cookies, right? And then he went to the police chief's house with his mother and a big old tray of cookies and said, "Give me my job back. Here you go."
Come on.
Oh.
To like the head of the RCMP. If you can believe it, it did not work. That gave Kevin one of brand new suspensions, and in early 2009 he was given the ultimatum: resign or be dismissed. Kevin decided to fight this once again.
I could die and leave at any time. And this has been going on since 2005. And that's what's kept me going. So I've been suicidal for 5 freaking years. So for me, it's no big deal. Sucks to be me. So just things like that. And it was just getting to me. Then they took my pay.
That was this summer, right?
No, that was, they kept it going until November. Then they took it. But the thing they did wrong was they tied it into the pen, which they can't do, and that screwed themselves.
Okay.
Plus, when they took it.
So why? So there's my point. That's my point.
Yeah.
So you said they can't do this, and you've appealed this stuff. So why, at this juncture, do you decide, well, Kevin Gregson's checking out? Why? What now? I don't get it. I really don't.
Because I have $30.
Because you have a beautiful son. You have a wife that stood by you to this point. You have children out west that will always stand by you.
No, they won't.
And you have your church or your religion.
Joke.
Your religion.
It's just time.
He got a lot
I had enough
going on, man. Mentally.
With his work life falling apart through no one's fault but his own, something in Kevin that had up until now been holding back his worst tendencies gave away, and years of pent-up frustrations spilled over. And it will come out that during this time in 2009, late 2009, he had been molesting a 10-year-old girl 4 times over a period of a few days, and had been collecting pornos of the, well, you know, kind. This guy gets better and better. Well, you know what? Someone thought so, because I should mention that during all of this, Kevin had been married and divorced 3 times. 3 whole times. If Kevin can get married to 3 different women, there truly is hope for us all. Of course, none will last due to Kevin's narcissism and psychopathy, leading to very unhappy marriages, full of abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, you name it. Pick a word, put abuse after it, you got it, right? He was completely unsuited towards family life and marriage.
The allegation against you is that you took somebody's life. We're on opposite sides of the table. We still do the same thing. They obviously hired us for the same reason.
Yeah. So, whatever.
I just don't know how you get to the conclusion.
Looking up.
To me, all people are bad.
That's problematic for me.
Well, yeah, I know, but that's how I view it. I look at everybody and they're all bad. And that's it. And they sometimes exhibit a bit of good. But for the most part, they're bad. And that's it. And that's being human.
See, those are them kind of people that's around us daily as we go in places. They're getting up. You're in a grocery store or anywhere, and these people come out that's just looking at everybody as being bad, and they want to get rid of somebody, and they feel powerful as doing it. People like him
walking around.
You gotta be careful.
It's like even when you try to be too careful, it's like that person can rush you and just start
anytime
for real.
I was like, we stand in line in places. Don't let a person stand right behind you in line. Kind of turn to the side where you can try to defend yourself a little bit.
It's like you gotta keep your head on a swivel
like a bird
everywhere. It's like you shouldn't even have to do that.
You shouldn't have to do it, but this world is crazy now.
Like him.
Yeah, crazy.
For the most part, they're bad, and that's it. And that's being human.
Well, that's glass half empty. It's not human. It's glass half empty. You choose to do that.
Exactly.
That's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
So with him being just a rancid sack of shit, him losing his job, and also having numerous mental health problems, things blew up on December 29th, 2009, outside of a hospital. He lunged at Constable Chapnick. They fought. Chapnick got away, but would lose his life.
Damn.
The guy's dead. It's like, oh, holy shit. It's just like, oh no. Okay.
Like you said downstairs, the drama's over.
Yeah, it is over. I'm not gonna get upset. It's done. I tried to die. I couldn't die. I can't die.
It's not about you.
I know it's not about me, but I'm just saying.
It's not being about you when he took his life.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm just saying.
In the execution of his duty. That's where we need. That's where we need.
You saying
what I'm saying is that I'm not gonna go and cause trouble. I'm just gonna.
What trouble could you cause?
Exactly.
With these boys.
Right.
But they all walk around me and they're getting ready to scrub me in case I go nuts or something. The nuts part is all done.
It is done.
I tried to take my life and it didn't work. So now
but you keep talking about you. You're talking about you.
Of course I'm going to talk about me.
Why?
However, after he grabbed a knife and went to Chapnick, and he was pinned down and restrained, doctors who had failed to save Chapnick's life were forced freaking Hippocratic oath, man. They then had to work on Kevin Gregson because he, I don't know what the best way to say this is, but he kind of sort of tried to take his own life.
The hell with him.
And I really do mean that, because he did have stab wounds around his neck, but the wounds Kevin did to himself were like, here's a microphone cover from the podcast, this.
Oh,
that's
come on.
about as much damage as
You tried to take
They
his
were
life,
mostly
though.
superficial lacerations.
Scared.
I'm just tough. I'm physically fit. So, even with these cutting my throat, I got in there good and deep. I was working it. And the doctor said that the arteries not, they move around.
Well, I think it's a natural reflex for them to try to move out of the way.
But I got in there good. I was like zigzagging it, and it just still didn't work. Damn it. Oh well.
His story was that he wanted to end his own life so badly.
Well, hell, they should have gave him a knife, whatever, and let it, try it again.
Man,
Do it again.
He took that other life for no reason.
For no reason.
Before he went to the hospital, while at home, he tried to cut his own throat open.
When you hurt yourself, or when you cut your neck the first time, you said you did it 3 times today?
Oh, I did 6. I did 3 on one side. I just dug it in.
Yeah.
You ain't wanted to go nowhere. You ain't wanted to do it.
No, and then because it's supposed to work.
But did you have it bandaged up when you went to the hospital?
Yeah, because I was bleeding everywhere. It was
So where'd you get the
disgusting.
bandaging?
At my house.
Oh, okay.
I just got some band-aids, put them on
Okay.
it. So then I put another on top of it because like I'd get dressed and then all of a sudden down my front and be like gross.
As he says himself, on both sides, but he was too strong, and it did not work.
He was too
I think he probably
strong.
could have done more damage to himself with a nail clippers than whatever he allegedly tried to do.
Mike
Exactly.
something else.
One of the paramedics who had tackled Gregson and tried to save Chapnick later said Gregson had told them, "It didn't have to end this way. All he had to do was give me his gun."
I'm freakishly strong. No,
You
I
think- You think
am.
quite highly of yourself.
I am. I have lots of experience in restraint. It's no big deal.
So how did a paramedic wrestle you to the ground and keep you there if you're so strong?
Because I didn't, once he took me down, I stopped. It was done.
Ah, this guy really does just suck so bad. While he was awaiting treatment in hospital, Kevin remarked to one of the arresting officers that he thought city cops were tough and that he'd come to the hospital looking for a fight.
And I'm trained to take life. That's my specialization. And I can't believe the stupid
Well, you continue to say your specialization. You didn't learn that as a police officer.
Yeah, I did.
Because I've never learned that. I've been a police officer longer than
You're
you.
not like us. We're the Mounties.
Damn.
Constable Eric Chapnick, who was also known to friends as Pickles, because he loved pickles, so he was very much in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, Chapnick was
Right.
actually from Poland, born in Poland. He'd been in the Polish army before eventually emigrating to Canada, and while he was in Canada, he decided to change up careers, and he joined the Ottawa Police Force. He actually joined at 48 years old, if you can believe that. And he'd only been on the police force 3 years. He was 51 when he was brutally murdered by Kevin Gregson.
Young
He was
man.
the first officer to be killed in the line of duty in Ottawa since 1977. And
Yeah.
Eric's last words to the paramedics trying to save his life were simply, "Thank you."
Damn.
You feel sorry?
That's sad, man.
What else?
Oh, absolutely.
No, you don't.
There's nothing I can do. Nothing can be done. Like you said, you can't take back.
No, there is. You could say sorry.
Or you, well, to who?
Somebody will be watching this someday.
Yeah,
Since I was his family members,
You don't care.
they're not gonna. His wife watches. His kids. Oh my
He's
gosh, his
I don't want
kids.
your sorry anyways.
How do you know?
Because Thompson told me. No, some other guy. He says you're a. What do you say? You sack of shit.
That's what you are. He
He has
was
2
like,
kids. No, sorry. Sorry doesn't cut it. So.
You might want to try it. No? You have the opportunity right now to look up at the camera and tell that widow and those children.
You said
That
they're
you're
not
sorry.
gonna watch it.
Oh, they'll be watching. I said everyone's going to watch
it
this
won't be
at some
sincere.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Even
won't
my
be
people
sustained for
embarrassing
real.
people. How embarrassing.
Everyone's going to watch. It's embarrassing. You think this is embarrassing?
Yeah.
That's all you would think of. This is going to be
It's
embarrassing.
embarrassing.
I mean, that's all.
You went from flat foot to it's going to be embarrassing.
No?
Kevin's defense at his trial in February 2012 was to claim that the whole attack had been an elaborate attempt to take his own life. He was hoping Eric would shoot him dead. Easier ways than that.
How?
Now, any notion that Kevin wanted
How
to...
you snuck up on him and did
And you start going crazy and starts
hit him on both sides? Come on, huh?
like how he didn't even have time to defend himself.
Well, he had the
If
early
that was the
signs.
case, you should just walk up and wave your knife like this, like, and start
Hey,
doing
I'm about
like
to come,
suggestive.
yeah.
You went and then start going.
Crazy. Damn, he had the early signs when he was little, like they said. Just like Mike said, they should have threw away the key when he had
Exactly.
let it be over.
take his own life. There's this one thing which kind of like throws cold water on that, which is if you were going to do that, to, you know, go at a cop in the hope that they would kill you, why would you wear a body body armor? Why would you wear body armor?
Oh, he
Thank
was.
you,
Because
Mike.
Kevin was wearing body armor.
He was wearing
Not
body
one,
armor?
but two. He was wearing 2 bulletproof vests and then decided to sneak attack.
But you want somebody to take your life.
in the hopes that the cop was John Wick.
Yeah,
wearing
exactly.
a bulletproof vest, Kevin.
Right.
You're wanting me to give you a statement again.
Well, I'm trying to understand, Kevin.
Help us
And I'm sure
understand.
everybody is. There's probably at least 800,000 people in this city who are trying to understand. And there'll be probably hundreds of thousands of people in a couple days trying to understand. And this is your time to make them understand, or to let them understand what happened.
Kevin's defense made little sense, and if we're honest, never stood a chance of being successful. But then I think he knew that, and it was never the point to try and be found not guilty. He just wanted to have a trial and have all the focus and attention
On
him. Naturally, he was found
Narcissist,
guilty.
that's all.
It was never going to end any other way, as the witnesses and evidence were insanely overwhelming.
Gregson has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder. Today, the defense and Crown lawyers gave their final argument.
Gregson has now admitted in open court he killed Chapnick, but the defense case is centered on Gregson's intent. Gregson told the jury that when he attacked Chapnick outside the civic campus of the Ottawa Hospital, he wanted Chapnick's gun so he could kill himself at home.
No,
The
he
same
didn't.
argument he made to police officers soon after his arrest. He aggrandizes he's insensitive, he's a bully. Nevertheless, he stood in court and told you he didn't intend to murder Eric Chapnick.
Sicko.
But the Crown's Brian Holoka reminded jurors Gregson showed up with 2 bulletproof vests, handcuffs, and an RCMP knife. When he stabbed
It's a big
Chapnick,
knife.
his blows were lethal, not defensive.
And it was shortly before Kevin's sentencing for the brutal murder of Constable Chapnick that his other crimes came out, namely his 4 sexual assaults on a 10-year-old girl.
The victim
Get
him
tried
outta
to
here.
read this
Yeah.
victim impact statement, but broke down crying. In it, she says that she forgives Gregson for what he did, but she also asks him to say he's sorry.
Gregson
It's
also addressed the
not
court, but he did
same.
not apologize to the girl. Instead, in a short, rambling address, he said he never murdered Chapnick and that he had dreamed about this day when he was 20.
That crime would result in Kevin Gregson being found guilty and convicted of 4 counts of sexual assault and 4 counts of sexual interference with a minor. He got 10 years for that. Now, it's quite likely the inciting incident for why Kevin tried to murder Chapnick was that his wife was confronting him about the sexual assaults. She knew that he had been, like, raping a child. She knew about it, and in fact, she confronted him on December 28th, the day before he murdered Chapnick. I think it was his dark secret coming out, which led to him wanting to kill.
Sperm
Surprised he
out of
didn't.
He was
control.
going to kill to cover up. He would commit a worse crime to cover up.
Aren't you surprised he didn't do it to his wife?
Right.
For her confronting him about that?
Ooh.
Or was he coming after? I mean, he is a sicko, man.
I mean, I don't know if it's a worse crime. Pretty freaking on par. It was a whole load of
Exactly.
shite to cover up whatever shite this shite bag was doing. And so Kevin Gregson still sits in prison today, probably not having a ruddy good time, though I think he deserves that.
Exactly.
Hopefully, that'll be the last we ever hear of him, or his
Yes.
bitching and moaning in the
Damn
interrogation
right.
room.
I like Mike.
I like Mike.
I like
too.
Mike. I like Mike, man. Yeah,
They
man.
say we want him to apologize. I don't even keep you
Keep
apologize.
that
That's just my
apology.
personal
Yeah,
opinion.
it's
Especially
not
when I got
sincere.
to tell you to tell me that you're sorry or you apologize, because it's not going to be sincere at all.
Ain't sincere. He
Sometimes people be saying sorry or I apologize just to
shut you up.
shut you up or yeah. No.
Or to make other people, yeah.
Make you feel, but no. Keep your damn apology and lock us behind now.
Yeah, it should have been like you said, throw it.
Or they already locked
person
him
like
up.
him
They
shouldn't
got
even
him
be
in there,
here. Shouldn't even be alive. Like you a whole menace to society. The things you did to a little girl,
Then
to that man, and then talking about you was doing all this to yourself. You didn't really want to take yourself out.
Yeah.
You didn't really want to do that because if you had that big knife that you did to the other officer.
Then he had handcuffs and he had two we call it body.
Yeah, bulletproof vest.
Yeah. So he, come on, you didn't want that man. You didn't want to take that man gun. You wanted to take your anger out on somebody else because they was gonna get you about that doing with that little girl. Mm-hmm. You was spiraling out of control because you can't control your anger.
A coward.
A coward.
Sicko,
Yeah.
menace to society. Can we keep going on with the names? Y'all let us know your
Then
thoughts
he wanted
down
everything
below.
to be all about him.
All about him. That's what I like. The detective kept getting him. It's all about you. You keep bringing it back to you. You. Wow. That was that chapter, man. I enjoy that video. I enjoy how he breaks them down and he puts a little humor into it too. Shout out to you for telling us about that chapter. If y'all want any more videos, let us know down below what videos you want to see. Let us know how you feel about him, about this story too. We want to hear y'all thoughts too. You know, we're a big family over here. We always say that. We love y'all. We catch y'all next video.
Catch y'all next one.